Food is one of those universal experiences that we can all relate to, so when it finds its way into fiction and entertainment, as it must, it can have a number of effects.
Can I get a kid's meal?
I don't see no kids.
Yeah, I don't have a kid with me. I'm gonna eat it.
Well, only a kid can order a kid's meal.
That's not true. I know that's not true.
Oh yeah, it is. Only a kid can order it.
Aside from promotional inserts or as a vehicle for the story, when a writer brings to bear well-thought-out scenes surrounding or involving food, it can elevate a required part of human existence into a powerful tool to advance character and plot. By way of example, in Baby Driver, the diner is central to the plot and the development of Baby's motivation. It's not an especially clever device, but it does the job that it needs to. Same with the black coffee or the characters drink in that film. This is fine in cinema, because you can leverage these small moments to add brief depth.
They call it Royale with cheese.
But it can get more complicated when writing long-form TV shows. Repetitive food representation can often feel hacky and tropey. Think about NCIS and giant soda cups, or Smallville and Chloe's coffee obsession. While having a character repeat quirky consumptive habits helps with characterization, it's rarely interesting and can often feel obtrusive to the story. So, how do you make food work for your characters in TV? The answer, I think, comes in part from Marvel's TV show, The Punisher. Frank Castle, the protagonist, is an ex-military serviceman who has gone off the deep end of the law, hunting and executing criminals, only now he's killed all of them and he's trying to retire. While flashbacks, decision-making, and speech patterns tell us a lot about Frank and how he wants to be seen in the world, it's Frank's eating habits that reveal how this character changes through indirect characterization. Indirect characterization is one of those weird devices that always exists in a text. By definition, characters take action, say things, look a certain way, or affect the world, so there's always indirect characterization no matter how minor a part a character plays in the story. The goal of every writer is to find a way to use every indirect characterization to create a consistent, vivid portrait of a person as they change or evolve, or as the world around them changes. This is harder than it sounds.
If it helps, I also had a shitty day.
By way of example, in the first scene with Frank in a diner, he orders eggs and drinks black coffee. The choice of plain eggs and black coffee tells us a lot about Frank. He views this meal as a utility.
Just get over to that coffee. Thank you. No, just 3 eggs over easy, some bacon, sourdough toast, yeah?
Moving into the neighborhood?
Depends on the eggs.
You don't get many hipsters around here.
Well, you still don't, lady.
He shovels in food with a fork, taking little time to enjoy what he's doing. It's a mechanical, robotic process. Similarly, as the show progresses, Frank's eating habits reveal his abilities and attention to detail. During a scene where Frank is threatening David, he eats beans out of a can with a combat knife. For most people, this would be a difficult task, requiring a decent amount of attention to avoid cutting oneself. But for Frank, it's routine, making the act menial. Again, we learn that Frank has probably done this before and that he's comfortable around knives, a detail that comes up again and again throughout the show. But all of these instances of consumption are utilities for Frank. He has to eat to stay alive. As the narrative progresses, we finally see Frank eating and talking. It's the first instance of voluntary palaver on Frank's behalf, and though he still shovels in food, he engages with David over a meal. Frank's proximity to David's ex-normal life invites Frank to participate more in meals that aren't a utility. He actually enjoys them and he begins to talk to David. They even argue over a meal at one point as to who should eat what. Later on, Frank even drinks wine with David's wife and begins to talk about his life. There's a threshold that's crossed by Frank, and it's all to do with meals. While these might seem like small details, the shift in reasons for eating are a subtle way of showing the audience that Frank is changing, attempting to reclaim some element of his humanity. These small pieces of indirect characterization, like food, help form a cohesive vision that can separate good ideas from truly great stories.
So a kid has to wait in line and order a kid's meal. A kid can't get an adult meal.
Look here, sir. You have to be 14 or younger to get a kid's meal. I've just been made day manager, and I didn't get that title by handing out discounted meals.
Look, you don't have to be a kid to get a kid's meal, okay? Do you have to be a Vander Holyfield to get the champ? Okay, do you have to be fucking chubby checker to get the chubby decker? Do you need to have a long foot to... That one doesn't translate, but you know, this is ridiculous, okay? Can I just please get a kid's meal?
The Antagonist is me, David McNeil. We are edited and produced by Digital and Creative Media Works. Head to patreon.com/DCMworks to support us. And I'd love to know in the comments down below any of your favorite uses of food in cinema or TV. I'd love to hear about them. And I'll see you guys next time.